Hi guys and welcome back to Animals Aquatics. Today's Tuesday, so we're here for another vlog style video. We're going to take you through the ins and outs of what's happening in the fish room this week. So let's start off with the most exciting news. So last Thursday I added 2 new tanks to the fish room. So this is where my Master Eye Gold Fry are currently growing out now, and this is where my Benchii is, or my Inca 50 Kratos. He's in here at the moment. Hopefully this week I'll be collecting the females to go with him, Percy and Erebos in the tank above. And that's hopefully going to happen this week, so we can start to get some breeding action coming out of these guys. So the fry are growing out really well since I've transferred them over to this grow out tank. I'm going to keep these guys going in here for the foreseeable future until they get ready to go to the fish shop. It's probably going to take another 6 to 8 weeks in order to get them to a sellable size, but in a tank this size, being able to do water changes on the regular, they should grow out nice and quickly. So Erebos' tank is suffering from this green algae. I'm not really too sure how to treat it, but I've read that you literally just have to black out the tank. So I'm going to black out the tank for the rest of this week and next week and see if I can get the algae to kind of die off. It's not really a look that I enjoy, and it looks quite gross. It just seems to be this tank as well in the fish room. Like none of the other tanks that you've ever suffered from this algae. So it must be something wrong with the setup, and obviously after the female bettas were in this tank, I completely cleaned it down and started afresh. So it must be the positioning in the fish room, whether it's the heat or the light or whatever it is. It just doesn't seem to work very well. So that's the plan. Back this out for the rest of the week. It shouldn't do him any harm, it won't do the plants any harm, and hopefully it should kill off all the green algae that's growing in the tank. So my Aviaxis tank, Zeus and Hera, I never really see them. And I'm wondering whether that's because they are still quite timid, and I think I might put some dealer fish in there to get them to kind of come out more. That seems to have worked well with Apollo and Aphrodite when they first put them into their tank. So that's going to be my plan. I'm going to get some dealer fish next time I go to the fish shop, probably some pencil fish or some small tetras that won't eat fry, just to zoom around the tank and hopefully make them feel a bit more comfortable. Hopefully we can get some video of either of them, but they're probably hiding in the pots where they're always hide. So one thing that I have changed in the last week is that I've stopped feeding frozen twice a day, and I've decided to feed flake food once and frozen food once. And the reason for that is because for time constraints really, frozen foods takes a little while to defrost and to feed, whereas flake food's quite easy for me to feed first thing in the morning, so it kind of makes things easier for me when I'm getting ready for work first thing in the morning. I start work quite early, so it's quite an early time for me. It's normally about 5:30, between 5 and 5:30 when I'm leaving for work, so I need to make sure that's something nice and quick that I can deal with, so that then when I get home I can do a nice feeding in the evening. So I'll show you what I've been feeding. So I've been feeding this mix of flake food. So what that is, it's 1 part krill flake to 2 parts tropical flake, and it gives it a good mixture of it. I'm also going to mix in some of this tetra flake to grind it in as well, just because that's got some extra prebiotic in it that will help the fish kind of feel a bit better. So this is obviously still my favourite tank in the fish room, the Ocelotes Gold tank. Haven't had any more fry from these guys recently. I'm not really too sure why, to be honest. He's been digging up the tank, as you can see from down here. I just can't help it, they just dig and they move stuff around. It's quite enjoyable to go away one day, come back the next, and things have kind of moved around. So that's just what I'm letting happen. I'm letting this tank just go, doing water changes, feeding them, you know, the usual. But they're really fun to watch and really interactive still. I'm going to show you their fry now as well. So here's their fry, and there's 3 of them in here. They kind of keep their own little territories in this little tank. They're doing water changes every second day to try and get them to grow nice and quickly. Let's see if I can get a view from this side. As you can see, they literally look like little Ocelotes Gold now. It's just a case of them packing on size in order to be big enough to go in with the parents. So Mars and Venus, we keep saying that we haven't had any fry from them, but actually, if you see down there, there's some fry, and they've grown to a juvenile stage. So I've been noticing these guys once I've been doing water changes and stuff like that, but I just wanted to leave it until they were at a reasonable stage. I've hooked a couple out already and put them in with the rest of them at Master Eye Gold Fry, and I've been trying to get this one out, but he keeps avoiding me. And as you can see, he's feeling very close to his dad. There's no issues. And yeah, there's like a little family going on here. It's really cool and really fun to watch and really interactive between the three of them. And I really enjoy watching them. I think some of the best fry are like mystery fry, like when you like, where the hell did he come from, like what's going on in your tank, that type of thing. So that was really quite cool for me when I noticed them. And there was about 4, which I've moved 3 into the grow out tank. And yeah, it's really quite fun. I really enjoy that part of the hobby. And they're always really dark, because I think they're trying to camouflage and like hide from the dad, just so he doesn't pick them off. But that's just my experiences, and you know, like I always say with the channel, I'm just trying to give you guys my experiences and what I'm experiencing. I'm by no means an expert. I just want to give you guys what I see on a daily basis and like what I'm doing in the fish room to try and maximize my fish growth, maximize my fry rate, you know, and that's just what's going on. So my black rams, we haven't really had an update on them in a little while, apart from to tell you guys they kind of recovered from their fight that they had. So Pandora and Achilles. I have been seeing spawning action, but no spawn yet. So she gets very close to laying on a leaf, or you know, laying on one of the pots, and he's following her around, but then it never really seems to materialize. I've been trying to get some advice on what to do with these guys. And a lot of people say remove the male, or you know, or remove the female, and then put her back in. I don't really want to do it, but I'm thinking that I might have to, just to trigger them to spawn, because they don't seem to be doing it themselves. And I really want to get some fry out of these guys. You don't see dark night rams in England too often, and these are dark night rams, and as you can see, I just want to bring these guys to the hobby here. If you look at how amazing their colours are compared to other black rams that you will see, this is an actual black ram. I know I say this every single time that these guys come on video, but you just don't see this very often. So Big O and his female, I think we're going to see some fry in the next couple of days, if I'm honest. We're getting very close to the time frame where she'll lay again, and she'll then lead them out of the cave. Looking forward to it, but like I said, these guys are kind of very prolific, so it just happens every 2 to 3 weeks. Unfortunately, the most recent spawn, we lost all of them when we removed the breeder box. We removed the breeder box, put them into the tiny tank, and all the fry passed within a couple of days. Not really too sure why, because the water parameters were exactly the same. Let's put them in a bigger tank. But it's happened, and I'm going to show you some cacatoides which we've got growing out now, which are growing out really nicely. Okay, so this little girl here is obviously Apollo's daughter that we kept, the only one from the first spawn that we've kept now, and like I said before, she's had some fry, quite a considerable amount of fry, and you can see them all from their nice orange bellies, because I just fed a load of baby brine shrimp to these guys. So these guys are approximately 2 weeks old now, and you can see that they're starting to turn into little fish. So they're no longer little tadpoley looking things. They are actually little fish now. So hopefully within the next week they'll get kind of a bit bigger, and then we'll go from there. Really happy with their growth. Hopefully we can get them off the baby brine shrimps soon, because as we both know, or we all know, that when I feed baby brine, I tend to overfeed it and the tank gets a little bit of hydra. That has happened again in here. The guys are kind of, the tank's big enough where they can avoid. So that's where we are at with these guys. Just going to keep feeding them, keep them growing, keep the water changes up high. And that's my current plan with these guys, really. I'm not really too sure how many are in there. There was about 100 when she first led them out of the cave. Now there is going to have been some die-off. It's just inevitable, that just happens. but I'm thinking there's at least close to 50, 60 left in here now. She's done a really good job as well, and I'm really looking forward to putting her back in with Seta in the bigger tank. And once these guys get a bit bigger, and I'm okay to leave them on their own. I still feel a bit nervous leaving them on their own because the mum, as you can see from her colour, she leads them around the tank, and that's why she is this colour. So I'm going to leave her for a little bit to see what happens. I've also got an auto feeder which I was thinking about putting on this tank when they get a bit bigger. So that's going to be the plan to help to grow these guys out nice and quickly. My last little updates on this guy. So Hades, he's really settled in well to this community setting, which I was a bit concerned about because he kind of got a bit aggressive in his first couple of days of being in here, but he's really adjusted well. He loves to sleep in this Amazon store, which is like floating at the top. And I really wanted to get some video of him sleeping there, but he's decided that once I put the camera in his face, he decides he wants to not sleep in it. So you can also see Hercules' colour now that I've been feeding this this flake. It's really changed. You're starting to really see the black bars throughout his body, and I'm really impressed with his colour. You can also see the unnamed males behind him. So these guys have kind of, yeah, you'll see that they kind of really fight between the two of them for space and dominance. But obviously Herc is the boss of the tank, so, you know, that is amazing. Okay, look, this is what I'm talking about. How he's sleeping in this little leaf. He's so lazy, he just likes to sleep up there, and then my honey gourami here is just away with it. So then he sees the honey gourami and he's like, no, get out, and that's when he comes out. So, you know, I'm really happy with this tank. The plan maybe is to shut this down soon from a community setting and to do something else with it. I'm gonna not say that because I'm not 100% sure that's gonna happen yet. Okay, so that sums it up for another week. What we've got on this week is we are going to be putting reflective curtains here so that we dampen the reflections, so that, you know, you get better video quality, and also it will help to keep a bit more heat in the tanks because it will help the lights reflect the heat down. And that's going to be what I'm doing today after I film this video. And that pretty much sums it up for another video. So if you have liked this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, adams.quays, and join me on Thursday for Fish on Thursday 2-minute video where I'll go through exactly what I'm doing on that day. Join me then.